Yeah, we.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our September meeting of the Senior Issues Committee. We have a quorum, so I'm gonna ask for a motion to open the meeting.
I have a motion to open the meeting.
Yeah.
Did I do it?
Go ahead.
I move to open the meeting.
I need a second. Someone second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
What time is it?
all right, it's 11:05, so I'll go 6. All right. And I mean, we didn't get, when the minutes sent out from June,
Yes.
I don't remember. Oh, okay. Well, we'll just table the minutes. And the next thing on the agenda is,
It's a discussion as to like.
okay, I'd like to welcome everyone back from the fabulous summer vacations. Everybody looks nice and tanned, especially me. We have one guest, who's gonna present on Friendly Visiting Program. There's Miss Sulaine Gomez. Miss Gomez, are you ready? Would you like to come up, because are you way in the back there? Why don't you take my seat here?
No.
I thank you for presenting as well.
Let me know.
Go.
Hi, everyone. Good morning. So today, thank you for having me, and giving me the opportunity to present my program. My name is Sulaine Gomez. I'm a care coordinator for a program, that's called the Friendly Visiting Program. We're located within Isabella Nursing, Center. And, what we're looking for currently is volunteers who can volunteer with our, older adult population within this region to either do phone calls at least once a week or visit with, any older folks once a week. This is in an attempt to, decrease, social isolation that many are, feeling loneliness that's going on in the community. We have so many matches currently, but we need more volunteers. There's more older adults that are getting to know about our program. They're very intrigued. However, we need to increase our volunteers, and that's pretty much what we're seeking at this moment. We also have, if there's any older adults who are interested in our program, they can also come aboard if they would like to get in contact with us. I could connect them with the case management team. Not only would they be eligible to enroll like in the Friendly Visiting Program, they can also receive case management services, bill paying services. They have like an abundance of services that help them pretty much with almost anything that they may need assistance with. And but pretty much this is what we're focused on at this moment is well, at least on my portion, is to seek volunteers and hopefully get more people on board with the program so that we can provide the service to more and more of the older adults that are in need of this service within our community. I don't know if there's any questions.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Hi, my name is Alicia Barksdale. I'm with Riverside Hawks and 3333. And is there an age limit for volunteers? Like, do you give, points or references for students that are in high school that need to do community service that they can come and help you, or?
Yes, great question. So all the volunteers need to be 18 and older because we do administer a background check as the volunteers are communicating with the older adults, in their homes, or if they select, they could do it over the phone. They could also do video calls. So we need everybody to be 18 or older. Some, students, I know they're still in high school, that's fine, but they have to be 18 or older only because one of the components is a background check, which we do provide and we pay for. So yeah, I believe that, I don't know if there's anything else that you have any other questions outstanding.
I have a question. You're not finished, Alicia?
No, I'm finished. Thank you so much.
And
I'm on my
Thank you.
way there. I'm just walking there now.
Okay.
We might let you in.
Oh,
You say background check, what specifically are you screening out? What would you like, what would disqualify them for, volunteering?
I was,
meeting
well.
you out. Sorry. Oh, I'm still on. I didn't mute myself. Oops.
Touche.
Well, mostly like anything like any assault charges, any type of like robbery, things like that, cause like, we have such a vulnerable population, we don't wanna put any or expose anybody in a situation where, someone comes to their home or even, it's so difficult, even the trust where you pitch this program to someone who's an older adult and they're like, who is this calling? They don't even, so it's tough, but we work hand in hand because the older adults that come through our program, they're screened as well, so they come in through like our case management program and they're referred to me. So they know their case manager and then their case manager introduces me. So it's not like, hey, who's this strange lady, contacting me. There's some sort of connection to, Isabella in our program so that they know that this is not like a scammer or somebody trying to pretend to be one person and then it's something else. But like I said, because we're seeking volunteers, we go through the screening process of, conducting a background check. We also conduct, we do reference checks. So they don't have to, formally have done this or anything, but they can provide like a friend who can, speak on their behalf as to like, maybe their interest or how they are as a person outside of wanting to volunteer.
Right, they're not getting paid for it though, right?
No, they're not getting paid, but I would say like from the volunteers that are currently on, they've already like, I don't know, they've gained like a friendship with this older person. And even though some people are older, some people are younger, they gain things from each other like as a relationship. So some of the relationships that I have currently, they're 3-4 years in. So, there's something there that does work where people find, the common interest. And even with the age gap, I currently have a 18-year-old that's matched with, I believe she's 81. So even that, cause I know somebody asked a question, like if you were high school, then it's this specific volunteer. He didn't know he was majoring in psychology, and he's like, I wanna go into that realm for college. So he was still finishing up in high school, but he's like, all I can get right now with my experiences is McDonald's or, a little store job or something. So he was like, I wanna get experience, but I know I'm not gonna get hired and, so I was like, this is a great opportunity because you're interfacing.
Yeah, because also this aging population.
Correct.
It's really zooming, that's my generation, baby boomers. So, I mean, it's wonderful training, maybe do you, like, for instance, put up signs that people go to Columbia University?
Yeah, so a lot of our other, and a lot of the other volunteers come from like our universities, like yeshivas nearby, Columbia. So we do have a lot, and then, we do ask the older adults, like, what, cause the part of the matching process is like, what are you interested in, you know what I mean? So it's like collecting your interest, the volunteer's interest, and seeing, where there's a spark there for a friendship. Some people go like, you know what, match me with somebody completely opposite of me, cause I wanna learn, something different. So we have a person that maybe they speak Spanish, not primarily, but then the other person is, is English speaking, but then also speaks Russian. And then, they bounce off each other. But back to the example with the 18-year-old and this 81-year-old woman, she was homebound, she was on an oxygen tank, so she couldn't commute out of the home, so he couldn't do walks or anything. But then he also was, I was shocked because I was like, I don't know if this relationship is gonna work out when I introduced them to each other. Cause I was like, he's 18, he was like nervous, but he's like, very like, I wanna try this. And she was like, giving him the look like, little boy, what are you doing with me? I got grandkids older than you. But then once they, got together, she taught him how to cook. And his mother was like, thank you, because she taught him how to cook, and then he taught her technology. So she could communicate with like her family and everything, because she was on the oxygen, she was like, suffering from a lot of like, depression and feeling really like sad, because she was like now in the home, can't come out, can't engage with her relatives as she could. And then, now her grandchildren are you know, they're into technology, so she couldn't,
If-
they don't
was
wanna
that-
be on the. all that-
is that-
Yeah,
Oh, but, can you say,
yes,
like, no, il faut,
Someone had a question? Clotilde?
yes, I do. I had a question. In fact, I had several questions, but they have been answered as the first speaker. I'm sorry, I didn't remember her name, was walking to the building. So let's say our senior are our customers, and then the volunteer are the provider. So do we have already a need assessment as of to what really our senior need in order to be a volunteer for, to be entertained? And do we, as we recruit our volunteer, do we have a set of curriculum so that before the curriculum to see what type of talents we have? You know, you just say some people speak Spanish, some people speak Russian, some other are in the computer, whatever. So that would, in order to provide a better service of quality, if we can match the talent that our volunteer bring with the needs of our senior, do you have something, Taylor, in that sense? So I'm
Yes.
getting.
oh,
And
yes.
then the other question were already answered about the background check, you know, everything that you say, I had that in mind as well. So I'm getting back to you. Thank you for taking my call.
No problem. So to answer your question, we do like, I guess what you would say an assessment, but it's more so of a conversation. So once, someone is stating that they're interested in becoming a volunteer, I have a conversation with them the way I would with you and ask you like, what brings you to wanting to volunteer? Cause that's very important. Not just, you know, like, I don't think it is for everyone. And it really shouldn't be for everyone, same way like working with children and, you know, certain medical fields, not everyone should do, you know, everything just because they see a flyer. So I always ask that question, like, what calls to you? Some people have different reasons, you know, they, you know, specifically with the older population, because there's many different things, like people suffering from dementia, people suffering with various stages of loss, dealing with mental health. So it's not something where, you know, you may come in and think like, oh, this is gonna be just a walk in the park. You may encounter a friendly conversation and then it dabbles into like, I'm all alone because all my friends have passed and all these other major things. So it's, you know, I want whoever to come into it to have like that empathy and to be able to, take in like, you know, some conversations that may be lighthearted and funny and you know, and historical, because someone's telling you about things from like, you know, years way back, especially if you're 18 coming in, you're like, I don't know anything about some of the seniors that were born in the 30s, like you got someone born in their 90s or in the 2000s, you know, it's just a completely different generation. So they're hearing about things that they're reading about in history and in, you know, in school and social studies, they're hearing it, you know, face to face with somebody. So, you know, the experience is very like valuable, I think, for anybody, you know, honestly, I do have children that reach out to me that are like 14, 15 and they wanna volunteer. And it just unfortunately, because of the background check, I think it's amazing that someone who's 14
Wouldn't even know about it.
well, because they run across the flyers, because I do post it on social media, I try to get the word out as much as possible. And people do see the flyers in the community, which I try to post as much as possible. And, you know, some of the kids are interested and they're like, this sounds great, but because of the age component. So what I do recommend for somebody like that is like, if their parent would want to volunteer, then maybe then they can go along with them and bring them, you know, so that's an option. But we have to do the background check in order to, you know, maintain like the safety of the older adult that we're visiting or we're calling. We have to keep that up. So that's what I say to like the younger ones, but, you know, like I said, in the example that I provided, you know, they were able to learn from each other. He's going away now to college. So because he taught her this technology, you know, now they're gonna communicate, but now I have to find somebody else for her because, you know, she wants, the in-person, but at least she gained, you know, that relationship with this young man.
Apprehensive.
Oh, but you know what, like, even for myself, I was a little doubtful too, cause I was like, what? You know, it was just, it was a complete, you know, it was just, they were complete opposite. There was nothing there, but some people are open to that, so they're like, you know what, just match me with anyone, just hey, you know, and they were able to bounce off of each other and learn, and you know, like the experience with this young man, not only did he gain experience to put like on his resume or to speak about it and you know, college interviews or anything, but still he gained a friend now. And then his family also, you know, now.
And what helps with your cognitive.
Yes.
Yeah, you stimulated like that.
Of
How old
course.
is this program?
The program's been around, I wanna say about maybe like 6 years now.
Okay, so it's new.
Yeah.
And how is it funded?
The Department of Aging.
Oh,
Yes.
okay, and how many
Yes.
people work for it?
So the Department of Aging, funds it. In my program specifically at Isabella, I'm the only person who works there, so I do everything.
You're doing everything.
Yeah, so I recruit, I interview volunteers, I do the matchmaking, I go to people's homes. If you don't wanna do in person, there's folks that want to do over the phone, or they want, if they are tech savvy, they wanna do like WhatsApp, or if they have an iPhone, they wanna do FaceTime, you know, so everybody's. So when I, speak to both parties, cause I speak to the older adult and I also speak to the volunteer, I ask them, what are you looking for? If someone's into in person, then obviously the other person I'm searching for is in person as well. And I get interest off of them, like, what are you into? Some people are like, I just want somebody to play chess with, so now I'm like, I'm out here to look for a chess player. So, you know, sometimes they make it a little difficult for me with that, but, you know, we do find people and I'll put it out there, like, hey, someone's searching for a chess player, anybody, you know, here we go.
You can do that online too.
Yeah.
In person,
Yeah, but you know, it's harder sometimes, you know, so I'm like really looking for people to like put the word out. And to, you know, cause some people are apprehensive even to volunteer because they feel like they may not be able to do it with you know, a lot of people are working or they go to school or they have families. But the beautiful thing about the program is that there isn't a set schedule. So you can essentially volunteer on your own time. So if you have Saturdays available from, I don't know, 5 to 9, I'll search for an older adult who's also available at that time for a phone call or a visit. And then once you're matched, you communicate, because this is now your friend, your buddy, so you guys are able to communicate and set up, you know, what times you guys have available. So it is open for people who have children, you know, it doesn't exclude anyone. So a lot of people worry, like, once they see the flyer, then they're like, oh, I don't know if I could tackle this on, because I have school, I have work, I have, you know, but it really is up to your, you know, your availability, and I do take that into consideration. Once we connect, I ask you like, what's your availability? And I make sure that I match you with someone who also has that availability, so there's no disappointments. And like, oh, you match me with someone in the morning and they're only available in the evenings. Yeah.
How many people are participating in a number?
Right now, we currently have about 80 matches.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah, but some folks they're in one-on-one match in a match with one person. They would like to, cause each volunteer, they're, you know, what I tell them is at least contact once a week, at least. You know, and for some people, they want more contact. As they're lonely, they don't have any relatives or, you know, so 1 hour is, you know, is not enough. So some people would like a second volunteer or a third. So that's where we're lacking, like we need to increase. And then also, you know, we have a lot of Spanish speaking only, and we also have some Russian only speaking. So we need, so like we need more volunteers that, you know, can speak both languages or, you know, so.
You have more of
You have a-
Yes, I do.
you have a question? Ms. Gilmore has a question?
Yes, hi, I have Miss Gilmore, Paul Gilmore on the line. She doesn't have internet or anything like that, but
Okay.
she does have questions, and can you hear them, Miss Gilmore?
Yeah, I can hear that.
Okay, you have any questions?
I would like to talk about receiving a letter, like what I told her, you said because there's no, but the men don't need, and we're growing up, to get into the business, but I ain't questioned, but I just received a letter.
Okay, so before I leave here, I'll make sure that you get everything that you need, okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, just like, thank you, fella. If I have to take a cab down that, I would buy taking a cab down there.
Okay. She's 98 years old. All right, Ms. Gilmore, so they're gonna proceed with the meeting. If you hear anything, just say you have something to say, okay? Okay. Okay, so we're going to be speaking and then we have questions, so if you have any questions that you think, just let us know. I know you have a problem with accessory, but let her finish the meeting and then we'll actually, if you have questions, okay? So I'm gonna have you listen to it, I'm gonna put you on mute.
Where's she at?
He asked me to share.
Well, it's two chairs, co-chair Walter T. Alexander, she knows me from 30th precinct, and then Carlton Davis. Did
Okay,
she hear me?
Alton Davis and Walter.
T. Alexander.
Okay, so I'm gonna put you on mute until it's over, and then if there's questions, I'll put you back on, okay? So you're just gonna hear everybody, okay? Okay.
Okay.
She's one of the roaring twins. I was asking her to sign this sheet so they could sign it.
Yeah.
I think I got the names, I got everybody's name, yeah.
Okay, so Chrissy,
Okay, good, so how many outstanding, I think it's a fantastic program. And then I hear Bernard Arthur is our connect from the Department of Aging.
Yeah.
Maybe if there was like an incentive, that, money wise, like college credit or volunteering, cause you know, sometimes if you put volunteer stuff on your resume,
Yeah.
that looks good when you, so that could be presented, especially in the high school level, as an incentive to, you know, to bolster up there. So how many outstanding seniors do you have now? And that's one question, before I forget, 'cause my brain goes
Yeah,
fast.
okay.
And the second one is, was this active during COVID? Because that's when a lot of the stuff was, a lot of the seniors really suffered. But first question first.
Okay, so first question, outstanding, we're constantly getting, new folks coming in, so. There's a case management component, not to my program, but that's how we get referrals. So once, you know, anybody's interested in case management, they come in, the case managers let them know about this program, so it's like always rolling, so. And, you know, in a month, if I get like 10 new people who are interested, then those are 10 people that I have to find matches for.
Okay.
So you know, like I said, it would be great to have, you know, this whole, you know, but it's not always like that. So sometimes, you know, and then we have moments where people go away on vacation and then, you know, this older adult still wants to communicate, but, you know, we don't have the volunteers to, you know, to match. So I'm trying to get, you know, more volunteers to come in so we can kind of like get everybody matched up or get people who need 2 people, things like that. We do have some volunteers who have 2, 3, yeah, so I'm like, thank you God for that. But, you know, they do love it. As far as, the college, and the high school component, we do write letters, so if you do need like, not necessarily credits, but if they need like, you know, yeah, like something community service, or if they need, you know, anything like that, we do provide letters. So if that is of any help for, you know, and then also like, you know, even if it's a letter just confirming that they're in our program, that they've been volunteering,
That's a wonderful inducement, even for parents who are, thinking about the kids going to apply at college.
yeah.
All of that is very good.
So, you know, I try to pitch it to them, yeah, like that. And then to the second question that you have, yes, it was around in COVID. The only thing was that it was only available phone. So for a lot of the older population that, you know, don't want to do the phone or that we're missing that in person, they were unfortunately unable to now that, you know, thankfully, you know, COVID is hopefully stays away, or stays, in levels where we can control. We do have all these availabilities, and there are some of the seniors who are, you know, tech savvy, so they're doing WhatsApp calls, they're doing FaceTime, they're texting. So, you know, it works out. So there's just many different ways, but we just need more volunteers, we need more people to, you know, I guess know more about the program, know more about the importance of helping out this population. And, you know, with the younger crowd, it's a little tougher because, you know, a lot of people, they don't, they don't necessarily always think about the older population in this sense where it's like, you know, and then for people to even admit that they are lonely or they do need, and I always keep telling people this, you know, especially like the older folks that come in and they're like, they wanna do the program, I'm like, this is not just, something because like you're older, this is like the I get people who are in their thirties and their twenties, even the teens, well, not the teens, they're young adults now, they're 18, but young adults. That feel like lonely, or they feel like they're missing that communication because some people are, you know, they're looking for a different type of like conversation and they're not getting that from people. You know, their counterparts or, you know, someone else their age. And, you know, the historical features missing because someone who's also 18 can't tell you about back then or had all these interesting stories. They could just tell you about TikTok or whatever's going on now. But when you're matched with someone who's in their 90s, as you know, the caller, you're getting people who talk to you about Rosa Parks, like literally tell you things about history that you can only hear about these things in history. And then even for myself, when I'm matching them, I'm just like, they're pulling out pictures with MLK, they're bringing out all their like trinkets and all their stuff. I'm like, this is, even for me, it's literally a history lesson. It's like awesome to have this opportunity. And, you know, for some people, they really value it and they're like, this is like a once in a lifetime thing. And, you know, I'm like taking advantage of it because, you know, we just, you know, it's not something that we come across all the time. Like we see people in the streets, but it's like to have that one-on-one, like you're literally talking to like a historian, like in person, sitting in their couch, hearing it live from them.
Viewing pictures.
Exactly, getting like literally they have memories, they have things in their house, and you're getting their perspective. So for some people who are in the social work field, in the medical field, just in general, like they're getting like one-on-one like interviews, things that you may have to pay or, you know, like search for people, but you're getting it one-on-one. So, you know, it's the way you wanna look at the program, but you're also helping yourself. It's not just helping someone else.
Do you reach out to other youth programs that also need that component as far as their organizational guidelines?
I mostly reach out to only because of the age component of the program, because everyone has to be 18 or older. So I do reach out to like, GED programs, like, you know, programs that like need that, not necessarily that they need it, but it would be like enriching for them to like get that experience. And, you know, more so for like career purposes as well, because it's also a guide, you know, it's not just because you're gonna work in a geriatric field or, you know, you wanna work with like, no, it's not about that, it's about the fact that that also guides you because you're also, being matched with other folks who are photographers, they used to be attorneys, like, these are, you know, like, even for myself, I'm having conversations and this is like the younger version of myself who years later and people see themselves like this. You know, I've matched two photographers. One of them is a retired photographer, one of them is a current. And they go out in Harlem and they literally take pictures. He's unable to do it now, but she takes the pictures, she frames it for him. She's moved now to California and they still maintain a connection through video calls, through phone calls, and she does come into New York, visits him. And they go out, they take pictures. So it's like, you know, it's the gain of like, you know, some people, they don't have their grandmothers around or, you know, and that's another component. You have a lot of people who seek that as well. You know, they don't have, you know, that in their lives and they gain that through this program.
Alicia, you have a question?
Yeah, so do the volunteers help them with household duties, or is it certain things they can and cannot do if they are volunteer? Like if you have a senior in your 90s or in your 80s and they're disabled and they just need a little bit help around the house because their income is too high for aids or you know, Medicaid won't provide them because they made $5 over. So is there, do they do that or do they just specifically communicate by just being?
No, so they don't help with like any household things, like duties or anything. That the case management program that we also have at Isabella, like they help with like connecting them. So if like a volunteer was matched with the senior and they're like letting them know like I have these issues or anything like that, they could communicate it to me and then I let the case managers know. And then they can like, you know, co-facilitate like how to communicate with them and get them like to the appropriate program or, you know, offer them services. However, when the volunteer comes out, I also ask like, when I'm doing the assessment with the older adult, I always ask them like, how do you see yourself spending the time with this volunteer? Whether it's going on walks if they can, whether it's, you know, sometimes they don't even know. And I give them examples based off what current volunteers do, what, such as like, some people have put together, you know, books of like, you know, whatever they tell them, like about their lives, they're putting it together because they're having like a memory impairment. So, you know, like, oh, remember last week you told me about this part, and they're like capturing these moments for them, you know, writing it down, or they're playing board games, they're playing memory games, so when they do spend time together, they're tackling on like the interest or the other person, if they like to bake, or, you know, if the volunteer likes to cook, they'll cook and they'll like make a meal together. So they'll do activities that maybe the volunteer likes, both of them like, or a new interest that they end up picking up together.
It's a companion component.
Yeah, so if they end up doing something in the moment, like whether it's like, hey, you wanna organize this together, then that's like completely on their own, but it's not like the volunteer comes and they're there to like assist them with like ADLs or anything like that. Yeah.
Do you advertise?
You have a question?
Yeah, my question is, what's the catchment area, is it the whole city?
That's right.
Or just specific area?
I know it's 9, 10, and 12.
Okay.
Yeah, so those are the areas that we have, yeah.
I just wanted to ask if you were also advertising online and I love the Upper West Side. and-
Yes,
Okay.
yeah, so I'm, yeah, it's just like I said, it's tough, cause like people, it's just kind of getting like, I think word of mouth is like honestly the best, cause like when I, get most volunteers, like people see something and they're interested in the moment, but then it's like, you know, the interest fades, cause in the moment, it's like in the media, like, oh, I would like to do something like this, but it's a little bit different when you have most people that stay on are people that I've had interactions with live, because I'm able to like, you know, either give them a reference story or explain something really more in detail about how it goes. Because people, you know, sometimes even though they see something in their mind, they're like, I can't, like even with the time component, they feel like it's gonna be too restrictive to their lives, it's gonna put, you know, and I'm like, honestly, we spend how much time do we spend maybe looking, like for a lot of people scrolling on the phone? You can literally make a phone call and ask somebody how their week was, you know, and that would be like monumental for this individual who's not in contact with anybody. The only contact they have is maybe on medical appointments, and no one's really talking to them, like, hey, how's your daughter? I know she came up, something where it's like someone cares, you know, personal stuff. Yeah, it's like it's missing. It's just like, oh, how you doing? Oh, you know, it's an appointment talk. They want like the connection of like someone cares, someone's, you know, the continuance, and then not even that, but then they also wanna ask about someone else. They wanna hear about someone else that's not, I don't know, bed bound, or, you know, what are you doing? What are you up to, you know, and just having that communication. So, you know, it's really important stuff, and, you know, once you have that communication with someone, they're able to see themselves in that role versus like, you read a flyer, you're like, I think I can do this. No, once you talk to someone, you're like, I can do this, because it's more simpler than what you think. It's just people sometimes, you know, make it, like it's like so much required, you know, from you, but it's not, it's just moments, and we just have to care. That's why I said it's not for everyone. So, you know, some people think it's a nice idea, but you have to be a certain type of person to do this. Like you have to be a person, you have to care. That's not something that, you know, yeah. And it's a commitment, because once you come on to this, I mean, you're not tied forever. We would like for everyone to have to stay on at least 6 months, because, you know, once you engage and you start a relationship with anyone, I don't think anyone would wanna not hear from you the next or 3 weeks down the line, oh, what happened to Martha? You know, so it's not, but we would like that, and like I said, this is why I said it takes a certain type of person to actually care, like, I engage with this person, I wanna know about them, and I don't wanna leave them hanging. You know, so it's not for everyone, you know, if you think it's gonna be something for the moment.
So what is your screening process for volunteers? How do you evaluate volunteers?
So we do have like an assessment, you know, like I said, it's conversational, I don't like ask people, bullet questions like, oh, and this and then, but pretty much like, you know, what brings you to do this, you know, that's like crucial, you should know, like, you know, even if you don't know, like, fully, but just like, what intrigues you to wanna do this? And then also like the references, someone, you know, giving a character reference about you, that's also very important for us. What do you do for work, you know, not that you have to be working, but just like, you know, and what are you looking to get out of this? Like what, you know, whether it's like helping or gaining, just, you know, things like that. But like the screening process, aside from like the background checks and the reference, you know, it's pretty much more conversational on like your interest and like your desire to want to like do this, and, you know, like the commitment aspect, like, do you see yourself, you know, committing for at least 6 months, and, you know, do you see yourself at least reaching out once a week? And like I said, those are just minimums, like at least just to keep the communication. But if somebody wants to call every day, they can. If they wanna drop by twice a week, they can, you know, and, but like I said, at least, you know, I would think, you know, so that's good. Yeah, just like I said, so these are just questions that we ask, and just to kind of, you know, of course, anyone can tell us anything, but like screening process wise, these are questions that we ask. And we hope that, you know, everybody's being open and honest, but like I said, we do a background check and we do character references, so, you know, we base it off of that as well.
You're a wonderful communicator for this.
Thank
Yes, you are.
Thank you.
Yes, you are.
And like I said, I work by myself, you know, the case management program helps by referring, seniors that are like interested. So they do pitch it to them and tell them like, hey, you know, are you interested in hearing more? And even, with them, like, once they're told like a little bit, they're still apprehensive, and then I told them, hey, if you want, I'll even come by, and then I come by, and even the same thing, a volunteer needs, like, the reassurance is needed on both ends. So like I said, this is new for, you know, even if it's not new, even if you've done it, but like I said, each person is unique, so it's like a unique experience. So once you come in, you know, this is a whole nother person, so it's important to keep in mind, like, you know, that we're coming into doing something that's special, each person is special. And, you know, once you do the match, like, then you're like, for me, it's like, that's the best part, like, actually, you know, connecting them. Of course, the updates later are amazing, but the initial, like, you know, letting them go, cause like, I'll warm it up for a bit, I'm like, hey, this is so and so, you know, we do the initial meet, they talk, and then you just see the conversation flourish, and I'm like, all right, they're good. And that, for me, inside, you know, and then from
You can
there,
have like a 98-year-old person and an 18-year-old person, so you have like 5 generations.
yes,
You have us,
Yeah.
like, my generation, the, baby boomers, X, Y, Z, you know? And the gap between that and this, and it's like not only just, you know, within your ethnic, but if you listen to like to a Jewish person, listen to their history, and
yeah,
someone's from South America and their history, and
Yes.
from Africa and their history, from Europe. I mean, you know, it helps both, because the young folks these days, when I came up, I'm a baby boomer, so it's not big, but anyway. We had a different upbringing, so we had to respect seniors. We couldn't call you, Celine, we had to call you Miss Celine.
yeah.
Celine Powell, okay?
Yeah.
Right. So that's, I see that lacking now, I like, just like simple like waiting for the bus. And these kids, and they're not even paying, and they're gonna jump in front of that, I said, no, don't you see that lady here? So, I mean,
Civility is dead.
I think it's dying, it's not dead yet, but that's great to link those generations, because it's a history that may not pass down if they're not aware of it. You know, what attracts the kids differently now is it's all about social media, everything is social media, and that's okay, I mean, that's their life.
I don't know how okay it is though.
Well, I you know, to a degree, I get what you're saying. But it's a lacking, because a lot of younger folks don't have as much respect for older folks like when we came up. Now, I'm not saying we're the best, because a lot of us are lacking too. But I think it's fantastic.
And that's why I told you, like, when I go to their home, they'll say like, Laura, I'll get the call, they're like, I asked them, like, do you have an age preference, like, on the volunteer, cause they get to pick too, you know what I mean?
Cool.
And then they're like, yeah, don't give me an 18-year-old or 20s and stuff, and I'm like, and you know, sometimes I'm like, what if that's all, you know what I'm saying, what if like there's an 18-year-old right there, like there was, that, you know, I have to sell it and say, you know what, give him a chance, I'm gonna come by with him, and that's what I had to do that day. No, cause she was like, no, and I said to her, I was like, listen, well, what are your reasons for it? She said, oh, they're so, same thing you said, they're so disrespectful, I see from they're not looking out my window, and I see out loud, you know, and it's like, you know, the judgments and things like that, but guess what? She met a fabulous 18-year-old, because like I said, we can't judge, but it happens, fabulous 18-year-old.
Well, to our people who are not on the I want to put the flyer in the mail. People that want to take the information down, her name is Sulain, S like Sam, ULAIN. Gomez is the last name, GOMEZ. This is the Friendly Visiting Coordinator. And her contact number is 347-668-5425. You can call or you can text. And her email address is S Gomez, that's capital S, capital G, O-M-E-Z, at M like Mary, J like Jewish, H like Harry, S like Sam, org. MJHS.org. And I will be putting this in the minutes. I thank you very much.
Yes, thank you.
I'll leave you guys more flyers that I have.
This is gonna go on in the minutes so that the other people, you know, and I thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Okay.
So I hope that you guys.
Oh, no, I got me PTA, cause I love talking to seniors, I took this commitment, you know?
Yeah,
But
and
I
I love it as well, that's why I'm like, I push it passionately, there's so
I would
much
like
I
for
want
you
to
to-
volunteer with, and I can't.
I would like for you to come back sometime next year again.
Okay, I
Okay,
appreciate
because
it.
we have a small crowd today, a lot of the
Yeah.
seniors, we were just starting back
No
after the
problem,
summer.
no problem.
So maybe in January, February, something
Yeah,
like that,
I
come
would
back
love to.
again,
I would
and
love to.
you're very, and thank you for coming, I really piqued my own interest, I
Thank
really
you.
just did something like that. All right, so I'm gonna move on to new business, you're welcome to stay if you like.
No, no problem.
And I'm gonna start off with new business by introducing my new committee members. Ms. Pat Wallington Johnson, Watler. Pat, I keep getting her wrong.
Yes.
Pat Watler Johnson.
You're supposed to know that because it's Walter Whitman, the house. Don't forget. It is Whitman, right?
Yes, I'll get
And
it.
originates from Honduras, so that's where my father's from, so,
Okay.
yeah.
Would you like to introduce yourself?
Okay, hi, I'm Pat Robert Johnson, I'm a member of CB9. I served on CB9 first in the 90s from 1992 to 93, and then from 2014 to present. I was serving on the Uniform Services and Transportation Committee, where I served ably, and now I have in a new direction. And I wanted to serve with the seniors. I also represent CB9 on the WHGC board, West Harlem Community Development Corporation. What else do I do? I also represent CB9 on the 125th Street elevator lobby. That might change, you know, now that I'm not in the home service. But anyway, I'm serving, I'm happy, always been happy to serve, I'm happy to be a part of this committee. And I'm thank you for having me, and I look forward to working with everybody.
Thank you. Welcome aboard. Now, I didn't see Francine or Francina, so I see some things say Francine, don't say my fault. Some things say Francine, some things say Francina.
It's Francina.
Gotcha.
Francine Waring. I am a Girl Scout leader for over 60 years. I'm located at 105th Street in Broadway. After retirement in 2017, I took on the position as co-chair of the 3332 Committee for Seniors. I was a retiree from Columbia University for 41 years. And my name is I am very interested in seniors because I am now.
Yeah.
And I am thinking that I will learn about from being on this committee. I hope to extend my volunteerism, my view on this committee. Plus, take things that I want to be out of the committee. So
Yes. Here. Let's see, I have no problem. Esley. And we're finished, she's senior issues now. Okay. Does anyone online have any questions, comments? Ms. Gail, did you have enough food for the rest of us?
You didn't come over and help make it for me. You know I'm having trouble here.
Good to see you anyway.
I'm doing my best.
All right.
I don't know where to buy them.
That's great, that's great. So, start with, yes.
My name is Liz Eastman, and I'm a new community board member. This is my first time ever on the community board. I was born and raised in Harlem, but I was not as active. I am still working, but basically I have a lot of interest in senior issues. But my mother 8-year-old aunt that I currently take care of. I just felt that, as my friends call me, a retiree in training. 5 years or so, and I will be a retiree, so I said, let me try to see what I can do to help. I'm part of BC 37, and I'm one of the active retired members who's been supporting the retirees in terms of this whole Medicaid advantage. I've been.
Disadvantage.
I've been out there, I'm fighting with the retirees and getting support and getting my actives and my younger actives in my agency to get involved. So that's for this. I'm totally new to the community board, but I figured.
Welcome aboard. I overlooked you. I'm sorry, you're on the committee. Elizabeth, I sent you an email. Okay. This is Mr. Haggis and
Yeah, my name is Will Haggis. I work at the Forest Group Library. I'm the adult librarian. So, yeah.
Oh, you said committee.
Well, she wants to know everybody who everybody is.
I'm a Lucia Barksdale, community advocate.
Francina.
You missed it.
Okay, all
Well,
right.
I was on the community board way back then too, for about maybe 15-20 years ago. Yeah. I served on the youth committee.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's not Medicare and it's not an advantage.
That's right.
Advantage, I got it.
They really should use that name.
Yeah.
They should be stopped from using Medicare in that name.
It's Medicaid disadvantage, yeah.
It shouldn't be called Medicare. And I'm sorry, Lydia Gerson, I'm retired from CCNY and taught for many years. Excuse me?
My alma mater.
Yeah, it's a great college. And at any rate, Lydia was one of them.
And Walter T. Alexander, co-chair, social worker, he's retired. And I love service, I love doing this committee. Ms. Haggis, is there anything new that you would like to share from the library? You have a flyer for me?
I do have a flyer.
Very good. Can I take that and put it in the minutes?
Sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, I wouldn't say we have much new, but I can just run through what the regular programs that we offer. So one of the most popular are computer basics classes. We offer that in 2 different formats. So every Monday and Friday between 2 and 3, anybody can drop in for basic computer help. The flyer outlines kind of the main things we cover. But there's no appointment needed for that, but we can't guarantee it's one-on-one. Often we have 2 or 3 people come. So I leave those and I move around the room and help as much as I can.
Classroom situation.
Yeah, I wouldn't, so there's classes, but not in the sense of like I'm in the front of the room kind of teaching that way. It's more like I sit at a computer with somebody and ask what they need help with and sort of provide instruction based on their individual needs. We also offer one-on-one classes that are by appointment. They do require registration and they usually book out several weeks in advance. So you can make appointments by either stopping by or calling the library. And those appointments are available on Tuesdays and Fridays at 12:15. We're offering Learn to Play Chess Club every Thursday at 2 o'clock. So one of our staff members is there to help, just to play with you if you already know how, or just the basics if you don't. We offer an English conversation hour. That's twice a month. It's the second and the fourth Tuesday of the month. That's people can tune in remotely for that, so we do go Google Meet, but they can also come into the library. It's sort of a hybrid format. We have a monthly book group. That's the second Wednesday of the month, and it's unique in that we don't all discuss the same book. So everybody comes and shares what they've read over the last month, a book or 2 that they enjoyed. So it's a good way to learn about new titles you might be interested in, but also not feel like you have to do homework and read the books.
Don't tell them about our home.
Okay, so we were partnering with Francina and William at 3333 to offer computer basics at 3333 in their senior center. So it's sort of like similar to the format at Georgia Bruce, but we're doing it offsite for the seniors who can't make it at home. And yes, so another thing that we offer is crochet and chat. So we have a couple of staff members who are crocheters. And so they offer that at Georgia Bruce. There's an in-person one and a virtual meeting, but also on site at 3333. And then the last one is.
We have no money, so I'm glad that everything was.
And sort of the newest, the recurring programs that we're doing is a monthly movie screening, so, Saturday movie, so this coming, or this month, September 23rd, we're gonna show, the new Top Gun Maverick.
Okay.
Yeah,
The crochet, is that for beginners as well?
so I think it's both, like, some people show up who who already know everything, it's a chance for them to share them what they're working on and talk, but there are people who are new to it, and Belgium, who's one of our staff members, is good at it.
Oh, we're going to do that. Yes.
It's open to, our classes are open to the community.
It's,
So,
again, you're joint or?
at 3230, we have a location, we have supplies, and now we're getting teachers, and we have those that want to know how to crochet and what it's like. So, and that's every second Tuesday and Thursday.
Okay, time,
And, from 1 o'clock to 2, but it never ends at 2,
okay,
but that's the time.
slide it, okay.
And
Alicia, you have something you're gonna share?
and the computer class also.
Are you said it?
I just wanted to let everybody know that Riverside Church Riverside's pantry is Tuesdays to Fridays
Very
from
good.
9 to 1. And they give out, you know, if you go early in the week, you can get lamb, chicken, different things. And, they do have, seniors sitting there that talk in bilingual and stuff, so the pantry is really good, because you get, bring one of those bags. Shopping, quotable shopping carts or something, because they come out, you cannot carry it home.
All right,
Like bananas and stuff, juices,
For this building. I got it, okay, that's 32.
Getting on the first floor, we have an exit.
And I forgot the young lady's name, but on my way here, she was a singer at one of our programs, and she didn't get a chance to get on, but she's singing tomorrow at, at Jackie Robinson Park. 6 to 8, she told me, make sure I said it, I remember, what's her name again? Okay, yes, and she said, make sure, she does the, right down on Great Fish Street, just groups and stuff.
classes and singing, if seniors are interested in stuff like that.
That's good, I need a contact number for her as well, I can put that in the minutes. And we're going to present to the exec board a resolution. We would like to change your name, I want to get a general consensus. We'd like to change your name from Senior Issues to Senior Action Committee. And we present that now as a.
What is it?
Yeah, it
No,
should
no,
be.
no, it was just the idea of senior issues sounds like a plain convention, you know,
It's action.
but action sounds like, hey, listen, we're assertive, you know, remember the 60s?
So I'm going to ask Ms.
Yes, you're going to?
Ask Ms. Gilmore if she has any issues or questions, may I?
Please.
Ms. Gilmore? Ms. Gilmore? Okay, do you have anything you wanna add?
She will, I promise you. It was my error.
Make sure before.
Yeah. It will come out. I gotta look at this. Tell her next meeting is October 3rd at 11 o'clock here.
So the thing is, the next meeting, write it down, is October 3rd. At, what's the address?
3291 Broadway.
3291 Broadway at
11
11 o'clock
AM.
AM, okay, October 3rd, a Tuesday. 3291 Broadway on a corner of 133rd and Broadway. And it's at 11 AM. Yes, where the mayor remembers who you are, yes.
So with that resolution, can we just get the judge?
Okay, so they're gonna make the resolution, so listen to the resolution and see if you want to, okay, so he's gonna talk, co-chair,
All in favor? All opposed? Abstain? It passes. So I'm gonna present this to the
So
executive.
what we're gonna do is write it on a piece of paper, and they're going to mail it today. Everything that we discussed and the names of the new, people, the new chairs and the board and the committee, I'm sorry, the committee for the seniors, and a calendar for the month or whatever, okay? Cause they're ending the meeting now. Okay, well, we'll talk to them about that, okay?
Carlton, you have anything to add?
So we're gonna end the meeting, okay?
Carlton,
Not at all.
anything to add?
No, not at all.
All right,
I'll get everything to you.
all right, I should have done old business before new business, but anyway. Since we have nothing else on the agenda, I can take a motion to close. Too early? Yeah, again, motion to close,
I make a motion to close. Is that right?
all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you all for coming. All right.
We like some.
Ms. Gomez, I am so excited about that program. I think I need to volunteer. Can I have you?
I'm trying. I have this too. I work it out.
Yeah.
When that's.
And it is simple, but it's trying to be wonderful.
No problem.
From where the.
Let's go, man. And like a policeman, social work, the job is never done. I do social work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something there.
You know, she's talking about, I don't vote it, I try to do like one-on-one things with them, like, to get the relationship going. Sometimes that little shit happens, like, you know, oh, I.
Yeah, like this is like, it's like contacts or referrals or counseling.
Like with the volunteers, like I said,